Okay. We had technical difficulties. Hi guys, welcome back to the Kneady Homesteader channel and my girlfriend Chris. You guys know her. And repeat your channel.
Gardening at the Simon Getty North.
And we will leave a link up above in a card and down below so you can go find my girlfriend Chris. Chris water bath cans. And she wants to learn how to pressure can. Well, she has a Presto, but I'm not really proficient in Presto. But I said, you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll roll with it because it's a canner. But Facebook Marketplace, they had an All-American canner, 915, for sale for $200. And how much do they go for retail?
About $400 or $500.
About $400 or $500.
Closer to $500.
I mean, like my heart. I remember back in the days when All-American canners were $250. Of course, that was before the change. I just call it the change now.
Yeah.
So I said, I posted on my Facebook and I said, somebody's got to buy this. Now, I already have a 915. Otherwise, I would have bought it. But I'm like, somebody's got to get this. Well, Chris heeded my call, right?
I did. I
heeded
seen it.
my
I'm
call.
like, no one's responding to this.
I know, right? And so she's like, I think I'm going to get that canner. And I'm like, girl, run. Go get that canner before somebody else does for $200. So she got it. And we just washed it. So I thought it would be a great time to turn on the camera and show you guys how to, well, I already washed it. I mean, you're going to scrub it. I scrub it with Dawn. You can use a little bit of vinegar if it's really tough stains. This one was in pretty good shape. Just Dawn dish soap, hot water, and give it a good scrub. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show Chris how to break in her canner, and we're going to test run it. We're going to make sure it works okay. She's going to leave it here with me until it cools down because it's kind of late.
Yes.
But we're going to break through this together, showing Chris, and I thought you guys would enjoy the ride. So come along with us as we break in a new used All-American canner. So I just want to show you, and I want to show Chris. So nice clean canner. Give it a nice good scrub. Okay, here's her tray. We're gonna lay that down. And the first thing we want to do is prep it. So I use Vaseline. There are some people that like olive oil. To me, olive oil stains and it gets sticky. I don't like olive oil. I don't like vegetable oil. I don't like coconut oil. I've even tried that. I go back to good old-fashioned Vaseline, a nice thin layer. It washes out really well. It doesn't stain. And I like it. Okay, so Chris.
Yes.
First thing that I always do is the body, and then I do the lid. Okay?
Oh, good idea.
So, all around here on an All-American canner where you see this little dip right here, this is where, unlike a Presto, where you have a seal, the All-American is metal on metal. So there's no seal. So it's the metal that seals. So if you don't prep this...
Every time?
Yeah, I do it every time. Okay. Every other time, depending on... You'll be able to feel it.
Yeah.
If you feel that it's got a nice, slick... You'll be able to... That's why I like Vaseline too.
Yeah.
It'll give you a nice, good, slick feel. Then you don't need to prep it again. But I scrub my canners after I use them and then before I use them.
Right.
So I just usually put a nice thin coat on it anyway. But this metal lid locks with this body. So if you don't have a barrier, it will seal. And then that's really difficult. You can get your lid off, but you might have to call All-American for some help.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we want to avoid that. So the best way to avoid, trust me, I've been canning now for what, 9 years? Never had my lid seal. So just make sure that you
like it welds shut?
Yeah, it welds shut. It welds shut.
Oh, that's all I need.
So all I'm going to do, and I know this is kind of hard to see on camera, but it's a nice thin layer of Vaseline, and all you're going to do is I wipe on the outside and then on this inside. You don't have to do anything below this lip. Okay. Okay, because that's not going to touch.
Yeah.
It's just this upper part. So I just go all the way around. And I do have a video on breaking in a brand new canner, but I've never, well, other than a Presto, I've never broken in a used canner. So it goes all the way around. because that lid will sit on this. And then after that, I always start in the front just so that you remember where you are.
Started.
Yep. So always the front, and it's because usually the sticker's there.
Yeah.
So you want to prep each one of these bolts because these bolts are going to lock down and you don't want them getting stuck. So all you do is just, it's real easy, just a little smidgen all the way around. You don't have to over, over goop it. And what's nice about Vaseline, a little goes a long way. So unlike olive oil or something that drips and just makes a mess.
Yeah.
This won't. And it's totally fine if you have some oxidization. I never dip this back into my Vaseline though. Yeah. So if you do that, don't do that. They're dirty.
Yeah, yeah. Ew.
So get you another piece of paper towel. So now we're going to pull that aside, and now we're going to do the lid. So I will show you on the lid. This is where it locks, right here on this lip.
Right here.
Yep, right in there. So I do the whole lip. It's better just to be safe than sorry than skipping a part of this and not getting everything, okay? So again, I start in the front bolt, and I'm going to go all the way around. You don't have to do anything underneath, just here. And then let me grab another piece of paper towel then. Okay, and then I like to, with the corner here, I prep it in between all of these little notches, okay? So just to put the Vaseline so it's on both sides. And that's all you have to do.
That's a good idea.
Okay, and then I like to, real thin layer, you don't need much. I just like to prep right underneath, I think I'm showing that, right underneath these. Just because these little things lock on, and when this thing heats up, it gets tight. So, and then if you have anything on the inside, you can just wipe it off. And that's it. So go ahead and feel that, so you can feel what that feels like.
Yeah.
So it's nice and, so you'll be able to tell when it's got the Vaseline and when it doesn't.
Right.
So now, do you have one of these?
Yep.
Doodads? Okay. So in the All-American canner, it's 3 inches of water. So what I do is I measure 3 inches with a ruler, and then I draw a black line with a magic marker. And then that way, you guys can see that, I can fill up my canner at the sink, hold that down, and I wait until I reach the line. And then that way I know I'm...
Well, that makes sense.
I'm at a good point.
Because you're not covering them like a water bath.
Yes, and the Presto's different. I want to say it's like a... You guys can correct me if I'm wrong for you Presto users. I don't know if it's like 2 quarts of water. I think it's like 2 quarts of water or something like that. Because it doesn't... This heats up a lot slower, so it does require a little bit more water. Now, you want to measure the 3 inches before you put in the jars.
Right.
I get a lot of people saying, once you put the jars in, the water goes up.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that are like, you put too much water in the canner. And I just laughed and I'm like, no, I didn't. Okay, so when you put food, jars, you put jars in here with water already in there, automatically the water level is going to rise. It's okay. So if you're jars look like they're more submerged when you're using an All-American, it's okay. We're measuring 3 inches of water before jars go in. We're gonna measure it with this in it though.
Yeah.
So throw that in. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the sink and we're gonna add water. Now, we have our 3 inches of water, which I will show you guys here so you see. Okay. See 3 inches of water, okay? So now we're gonna put the lid on. All right, we're gonna pretend our jars are in here. You can put water in there if you wanna see how it cans, but in today's day and age, I hate to waste any kind of canning, any kind of lid. Even my Tatler with a seal, I don't wanna play with those either. Like I wanna save my seals for actual things I'm canning.
Right.
So we're not gonna can it with anything in it, but we're gonna, now, I'm gonna show you. See this arrow right over here?
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna line it up with the notch, and that's how it goes on, okay? And then you slide it. Slide it. Slide it. Why isn't this sliding? Okay, because these are the things that you're going to be looking for when you're breaking in your canner, okay? So that's the problem right there. So what we need to do is just get a screwdriver, turn this back where it needs to go, which should look like this one, which grabs underneath the lid. This is one of those important safety features that I love about the All-American, is that so many people are afraid that their canner is going to explode on them, and it's not, because of all these built-in. Not only does this get clamped down, but you also have these hooks that get clamped down. So this is the safest canner on the market, but this is one of those things that you're going to have to just, you know, when you buy used, you just figure it out. So we figured it out. Now we're going to fix that, and then we'll be able to put this lid on. Let's say that again. You're excited, aren't you?
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. Okay, so now we have the lid on. I am going to let you close it up, okay? So with the All-American, doesn't matter which screws you start with, you just want to do opposite sides. So if you're going to do that one, you're going to do the one in the back at the same time.
Oh, at the same time?
Yep, at the same time. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh.
I missed a step. I missed a step. Hold
Okay.
on. Let me get my...
It's all on
So
this.
you're going to want this little doodad. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go around your lid and make sure that it's even. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So see how it's pushed down too far down here? We want an even seal. See this seal right here with the metal right in here? You want that even all the way around. You can use your hand, but I like this because if you slide it under,
Yeah.
it's just, it gives you a more accurate reading. Because you know if it's too tight, you can just lift it up just a little bit like that, and you're good. So that slides under, and then look at it from the front and make sure that this seal, see if you look at it right there, stand it right in front and you'll be able to see the seal is even on both sides. You see it?
Yeah.
So now you're going to take opposite ends at the same time, and you're not going to tighten it down too much. You're just going to do it just until it touches the metal and then stop. And then that way we seal up all 3 sides, I guess you would say, evenly. Look at you go, girl.
Whoops.
Look at you go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Okay, so now you can start tightening them down. Same way, two at a time, opposite ends. And then you're gonna just keep cranking them till you can't crank them no more. That's good, that's good. That's good. Once those get cranked down, they really never move. Okay, and so then after that, we're gonna make sure that it's even on the stove, which it is, and then we turn it on. Now, when you're canning, what I do is when my lid is off and I'm filling it, I have my burner set to low. That way the water stays warm, especially if I'm using boiling water. My canner stays hot, the water in it stays hot, because you want hot jars. Hot product in the hot canner. Cold product in a cold canner, room temperature product in a room temperature canner. Whatever your product is, whatever you're canning, that's what you want your canner to be. So we're going to turn this up to high, and then we're just going to let this heat up. And so when it gets to around 240, it should start coming and steaming out of this vent. When it steams out of the vent, nice and steady, we will time it for 10 minutes. And what that does is it gets all the air out of your canner. And then we can put the weight on, which I think is right over there.
Yep.
And then bring it back up to temperature. And then when it starts going, starts spinning, then we can start our countdown. Then your canning process as far as your timing goes. So we can run this for like 5 minutes, and then we'll shut it off, and then I'll show you all that. But for now, we'll be back when this starts getting up to temperature and we start venting. Okay, we're gonna see if that's showing up, and I think it is. So that steam, you want a nice steady stream, and once it's steady, once it stops, once it's kind of more constant, although on my other canners, this is pretty as constant as it gets. But when it's constant, we're then going to time 10 minutes on the timer. And then when the 10 minutes is up, we'll come back and then we'll put the weight on. Okay, so this is venting now. A nice steady stream. So we are going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And when 10 minutes are up, we'll come back and we'll put the weight on. I'm going to go ahead and put on the weight. Now for us, Chris, we use the 10 pounds. So see how there's a 10? There's a 5 and a 15. You're going to always press that so the 10 is down. So I'm going to show you guys, for anyone who has never seen an All-American, see the 10, and then there's a 5 pound, and then a 15 pound. So a little bit different with the Presto, where you have weights that you add to the little jiggler. Okay, so do you want to put it on, or are you scared? You want me to do
Go
it?
ahead.
If you are nervous, you can use. I hate to put on your weight. This is like a big thing for you. So go ahead and put your hand in there, and then put it on the 10, and then go ahead.
Alrighty then.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. So now we're gonna wait till this comes back up to pressure. I'm gonna take you guys off the tripod. There we go. So now, usually around 240, 241, 242, this will start to jiggle. And when this jiggles, then we can start our processing time. So when that jiggles, we'll bring it back. Okay, so here we are at the jiggle. Now, this is where it gets fun, Chris. So, you want to find your canner's sweet spot. That's going to take you a little while. Every stove is different. This stove was different than the last stove that I had, okay? So you're going to turn this down. And what you want is you want that to jiggle 1 to 4 times per minute. If it's constant like this, it means it's letting too much steam out because you're running it too hard. It's too hot. And remember, I said when you run your canner too hot, it affects your headspace.
Right.
So if you want good headspace, this is why sometimes when you see people with headspace that's way down here, unless they're doing chicken in its own juices or something like that, but they've got too low a headspace, it's because, usually it's because their canner's just running too hot. And it's a learning curve. Like, it'll take you some time to get used to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to crank this all the way down to medium. Now this is on one of my power burners. Usually my canners do pretty good on the medium. But what I did on my old stove is I, with a black marker, made a little line on where my sweet spot was on my knob, so that I knew when I was canning where it was. So you just don't want your canner to like run too hot. And right now we are, I'll show you guys, where are we on the dial there? So we're just a little over 240, which is where my canners usually run. And this is going to calm down. And if it doesn't, and you want it to run a little bit less, we can crank that down. Now, never leave your canner once it starts running, just in case there's an issue. I usually hang out in the kitchen. I'll bring my laptop out here and do some work. Or if it's in the day, we'll do homeschool at the table.
Good idea.
You can talk. You Marco me. But you see how long it retains the heat for? Mm-hmm. The All-American retains it quite a while. Well, that's set on low right now. And it's still running good. You want it right around that 240, 242 is where I usually keep mine, between 240 and 242. Now we just want to make sure that this is all running properly. Okay, see how that came down? I'll show you guys. See how it's 240 now? So that little jiggle thing should calm down a little bit. But sometimes not. Every canner is different. I've got 3 All-Americans and they all run differently. Mm-hmm. See, there we go. Now, as long as that jiggles 1 to 4 times a minute, we're good. But for me, because it's sitting right around 240, I'm going to turn that back up to medium. By the way, once this started jiggling, that's when you start your time.
Oh, okay.
So if you're doing your green beans or whatever you're going to do, that's when you're going to set your time.
When you put the jiggler on.
Yep, when you put the jiggler, well, when it starts jiggling. Yep, that's when you can set your timer.
Okay.
And now we're looking at, it's right at 240 and it's still at medium. And you see how nice and calmer it is? It's going to jiggle. It'll calm down, it'll jiggle, it'll calm down. And you might find that you like using another burner, you know what I'm saying, over, depending on your stove. Okay, so now, once your time is up, we're going to shut it off. And we're just going to let this come down off a temperature by itself. Slowly, this will stop. And then you'll start seeing your dial go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And when it goes down to the black, it is safe to remove the weight. Sometimes it'll go psss when you do that. That's fine. Then crack open your canner. If it's cold in your kitchen, just leave the lid cracked off to the side. Let the canner, the things in the canner kind of come down the temperature, but not rush it. Mm-hmm. If your kitchen's hot, like mine is right now, it's not going to be a big deal to remove the jars. But that's it. Mm-hmm. It's just running it down and then cracking open the canner.
Sweet.
And that's it. Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. You are now Team All-American. Totally recording you now, Chris. Now, Chris, this lady is giving up canning. So she's got 200 jars.
200 jars, a whole, like, bag full of rings.
Rings. New rings, too. They look pretty good.
Yeah, they look new. A thing, what do you call those things?
A sleeve of lids.
Yes.
Metal lids.
Yes, and the tattlers.
And then the red tattlers, which my heart sang for. So we're going to split it because I don't need 200 jars.
I don't need 200 jars.
But, you know, how do you not, like, I just keep thinking, in an emergency situation,
we might need them.
Not only might we need them, we might need to give them to people, right? So how do we not buy all that for $100? So we're gonna go in halfsies, right? 50-50, literally 50. $50, and then we're just gonna split it, and then we'll just have extra stock.
Yes.
And so that'll be nice because you have a lot of canning jars from your in-laws, right?
My in-laws, yes.
And then I have a lot of canning jars just from my own. And then with Paul's rule of thumb, we went in on, he went to, like, he goes estate sale shopping, and he found a guy with a barn that had, I think, Paul, correct me if I was wrong, I think it was like 1,200 jars, and we split them in half.
Oh, wow.
And so I've got a lot of jars. I'm sorry, I'm very moist today. But yeah, so, but how do you not, in this time, when you can get canning jars, don't turn them down. Like, get them just in case.
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, and so then you can gift them to your kids. You can, like, you know, we can put food in those jars and give them, because you've got older kids too, like me. So, but anyway, that's it.
Yes.
We broke in your canner.
Yay.
And now that one, it'll just cool, and then you're going to come back. I might go and get the rest of the stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what, yeah. So, because I'll be near there tomorrow from church. So, but that's it. Okay, so you guys, if anybody has a question about breaking in an All-American canner, if you have any questions at all about anything that we did, let me know down below. I don't work for All-American, but I should. Because I can sell them. I think I've sold so many All-American. I love the canner. It's my favorite. And so if you have any questions and I can help you, I'll try to answer them for you and make another video if I have to. But I'm so excited for you.
I'm excited.
And now we just have to figure out what's going to come out of your garden first in abundance that we can. We think it's yellow beans and purple beans, right?
Yep.
And so we're going to do
They're the Monte Gusto yellow beans.
Oh, nice.
They're kind of a long bean,
Ooh.
whole bean.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're really good. We tried some the other night.
There's nothing like, you know, fresh sauteed in some butter and some garlic. Oh, green beans. And I can't have any because I ain't got no teeth yet. I go to the dentist tomorrow though for new impressions.
All right. So
fingers crossed. This time I'll have teeth that fit me, at least temporary until I heal. So okay, with that, I will see you guys. I don't even know what my next video is gonna be. I just roll with it. All right, love you guys. See you soon.